I have to admit that I've been a bit of a dummy with these, because I thought I was making these sets in time for the FIFA games in the United States, but it turns out that's in 2026, not 2025. So that goes to show you how much I actually know about soccer. That aside, though, what I wanted to talk about was the 2002 Lego soccer wave. This comes from the Just Imagine period of Lego, where they were doing a lot of desperate attempts to reconnect with consumers as sales were in a slump for Lego. I find that the most turbulent time in Lego's history actually gave birth to the most effective toy they've ever made. I know that might sound confusing to some people who think that Lego is just toys in general, but I was struck by the design language of these sets when I compare them to modern equivalents. They're nothing like the modern Lego sets, which strive to capture as many details as possible in their builds, and I find something about that very refreshing. I am captivated by the fact that these toys have zero aesthetic considerations beyond making the semblance of a soccer field, and every single priority has been placed in the functionality of it. How does it play? How does it work as a toy? And for that reason, I think it principally and philosophically functions better as a toy for its intended purpose of, inspiring children to have fun with a modular toy system than any of the modern Lego sets we're working with right now. I believe it was Richard Ames who put it best when he said that the goal of a toy should be humility. The whole idea is that you remove all the complexity from something you're giving to a child because you want their imagination to be something that fills in the gaps. You want their play with it to be the main aspect of the toy. And a lot of modern Lego sets seem geared towards adults who want display items. They want model kits. And there's nothing wrong with model kits, but there's everything wrong with taking a toy away from children and giving it to adults. And while I can think of lines that still function as toys for children, such as the Minecraft line or the Super Mario line, I feel like I've already pointed out what's wrong with those sets in naming them, in the fact that they're depending on pre-existing intellectual properties that have already built a reputation with children. And if we're being completely honest, perhaps in their own ways are starting to lose sight of what it means to be a children's entertainer and a children's toy. But that's a separate conversation. The main point being that Lego used to have a very clear identity as a children's toy, and now I think its identity is far more muddled as essentially a model kit for adults with a lot of disposable income. That was never what Legos were supposed to be. That was never what Legos were when I was a kid. I was buying sets, Lego Pirates, Lego Castle, Lego City, all of these lines, Space Police, Power Miners, the core Legos from when I was a kid, I think still had this concept that Legos are supposed to be a toy. And toys are humble. Toys are simple. Toys are for children. And I don't know if I can look at modern Lego sets and say they're for children in the way that when I look at these Lego soccer sets, I can say they are for children. I had a blast building these toys. Their functionality as a play toy is superb. I don't necessarily demonstrate that well on a carpet, but I felt like I had to build them on a carpet. That was the point, that I'm going to play with these as a toy for children, as children are supposed to play with them. And I hope people watching this video feel the same way that I do. I don't think I've necessarily composed an argument that's going to sway anyone's opinion, but I've drawn my ideological line in the sand. That's how I feel. That's why I think that Lego Soccer from 2002 is one of the best toys Lego has ever made. Thank you for watching my video, and God bless.